Hello student, this is our chapter number 4, the River Valley Civilization. In this River Valley Civilization, Mesopotamian Civilization. So student, let's start. During the Neolithic Age, we studied all the ages, the Neolithic Age, the Chalcolithic Age. So this civilization is during the Neolithic Age. Many civilizations begin to arise in different parts of the world. In all the different parts of the world, many civilization is flourished. Most of these civilizations flourished during the Bronze Age. During the Neolithic Age, Bronze Age, four main cradles of civilization flourished around the valley of a big river. Means many civilizations have developed near the bank of the river where river are flowing. These civilizations were called the cradles, and these civilizations are called the name of this civilization is cradles, because many of the greatest human achievements that later spread to encompass the world had their beginning here. Most of the bigger civilization, great human achievements start from here. From simple villages, the civilization developed into more organized and advanced society. They have simple villages. After that development of the civilization, they are more organized and advanced society. They develop into urban settlement or modern towns. Due to availability of surplus food, they have enough food, trade facilities to adopt to agriculture as the main occupation activity. So their main occupation activity is to grow crops. The Mesopotamian civilization was the earliest of all these cradles of civilization. Means the Mesopotamian is the father of all the civilization. This fact was discovered in the first quarter of the 20th century, and that fact is uh, gone into existence was discovered in the first quarter of the 20th century. The word Mesopotamia means land between the river, and that word means the land between the river. The Mesopotamian civilization is also known as the civilization of the crescent because it covers the fertile land. It covers the fertile land, and it is a broad, fertile valley between the river Tigris and Euphrates in West Asia. Means it is between the Tigris and Euphrates in the West Asia. These two rivers run parallel to each other, and they overflow their banks and deposits alluvial silt along the lower reaches of the plain during flood. During the flood, they deposit alluvial silt, means a kind of a soil. The Mesopotamian civilization flourished during the Bronze Age and the Iron Age from about 3500 BC to 600 BC. Many empires rose and fell during this time period in this region. Due to this reason, it is also known as cradle and grave of many dynasty. Cradles means born of many dynasty, and the grave means the death of many dynasties. Now the source. We came to know about the Mesopotamian civilization through the archaeological source such as the ziggurat at Ur, the seals, and the literary source such as the Epic of Gilgamesh. It was the oldest epic in the world. It is the oldest epic in the world and was written in the ancient Sumerian language. The epic gives a vivid account of adventure of Gilgamesh and his desire to achieve the immortality, never die. So now the builders of the civilization. Who was the builders? The Sumerians were the earliest and the most advanced people who lived in the valley of the river Euphrates. They lived in the southernmost part of the Mesopotamia, which was called the heart of the Mesopotamian civilization. For about 1500 years, from 3500 BC to 2000 BC. Now, main feature of the Mesopotamian civilization. Society and social classes. The Mesopotamian society was divided into three classes: the upper class, middle, and the poor. The people of the upper class belonged to the royal family, like king, priests, scribes, writers, and other officials. The people of the middle class mainly comprises of the farmers, artisans, trade, fishers. They people made up the largest group. The lower class people consist of slaves, which includes prisons of war, prisoners of war, the merchants, and the craftsmen were strong and interdependent peoples. They are interdependent people. They did not depend on the king for their work. Farmer, shepherds, fishermen, and hunters took care of the food supply of all the classes of the people. Now, families of Mesopotamian civilization. Mesopotamian believe in a patriarchal society. Means the father is the head of the family. Boys were sent to the school to studies, while the girls had to study at home, learn housekeeping, cooking, and to look after the younger child. The Mesopotamian women used to enjoy certain rights. For example, some of them could own property. Means women have their own property. They will allow to do anything and go anywhere, including conducting their business. Means they have many rights. Now the administration. The Mesopotamian rulers had wide duties. They have many duties. Not only they had to maintain law and order, but they had to ensure that the canals and irrigation system were in proper working order. They have to see all the things. In the beginning, priests ruled over the Mesopotamian kingdom. Priests have the authority to rule over the Mesopotamian. However, later on, king took the place of the priest. King has got the place of the priest. They were regarded as the chief priests. They were not autocratic and their rule was not hereditary. They were chosen on the basis of specific quality like bravery, power, and intelligence, and not on their association with the royalty. They become a powerful authority over a period of time. They were regarded as the gods' representative on the earth. They are considered as the gods' representative. They performed important religious rites and sacrifices and were responsible for defending the kingdom against the enemies. They constructed roadways and canals for transportation and irrigation purposes, respectively. They administrated justice. They protect the poor people from injustice and oppressions. Army formed an essential element due to the constant fighting in the region, and all the adult citizens had to serve the army. All the adult citizens have to fight for the army. Now the cities, the discovery and excavation of many Sumerian cities like Eridu, Nippur, Ur, Kish, and Lagash reveals that the Mesopotamian cities were not as well planned as the Harappan cities. The Mesopotamian city is not well planned. Babylon is located in the central Mesopotamia along the bank of the Euphrates River. They were built in an uniform pattern and were divided into three main parts: sacred area, walled city on the mound, and outer town. Sacred area has the temple, tower, or ziggurat, which were dedicated to the patron god of the city. Besides ziggurat, there were many small temples in the sacred area. The sacred area also had a storehouse and offices. Now the occupations. The people followed many occupations like agriculture, livestock, rearing, art, craft, trade, commerce, and fishing. Now, first is Agriculture. Agriculture was the chief occupation of the Mesopotamian people. They used to do agriculture. Many crops like wheat, barley, pulses, fruit, corn, vegetable, etc. were grown by them in the Mesopotamia. As a well-developed irrigation system is in the form of excellent canal was built by them to ensure steady supply of the water to the field throughout the year because rainfall was irregular and scanty. Floods of both Tigris and Euphrates rivers also helped farmers to irrigate the fields. The rivers also help them to irrigate the field and help in agriculture. The width of the canal made them navigable. They were used by the common people as an important means of transport for carrying goods and going from one place to the another. Dikes and embankments were built to control flood from the Tigris and Euphrates River. Aqueducts were constructed to control floods. The wheeled cart and ox-drawn plough were the two inventions which revolutionized uh, revolutionized agriculture during the period. Now the livestock rearing. Livestock rearing is the animal rearing, cattle rearing. The Mesopotamian peoples domesticated animals like cattle, goats, sheep, donkeys, and they were used in the workforce as a food source. Now art and craft. Many other fields emerged in the Mesopotamian society as a result of the availability of surplus food due to the development of the agriculture. People now had more time to engage in different kinds of the activities. The Mesopotamian people were the first to invent the potter's wheel. Now they which help them the potter's wheel helped them in developing various kind of the arts. They used to have uh, are used to art. They are artists. They used to draw drawings many times. They later on learned the art of firing bricks in the kiln who make them stronger and durable. The most common material for Mesopotamian artists was clay. Clay is the most common material. They were well versed in the art of jewelry making, armor making, and sculpture making. They learned new kinds of art like bleaching, dyeing, print formation, cosmetic, and perfume. They also knew the use of the metals like copper. They used metals like copper, bronze, gold, silver for making vessel, ornaments, seals, jewelry, pottery, etc. Cylinder seals were generally engraved with images. Goldsmith, blacksmith, and potters, weavers, carpenters, stone masons, and glass makers were common artists and craftsmen in the Mesopotamian society. Now, trade and commerce. The Mesopotamian commerce means business. The Mesopotamian people carried extensive inland as well as foreign trade. Foreign businesses, they were very strict regarding the quality while manufacturing products from raw materials. In the southern part of the Mesopotamian, docks were built along the sides of the river of water transport. This figure show the different type of seals used by the Mesopotamian peoples. They were the first to issue receipts and bills in transaction. They used boats, wheel chariots, and animals such as mules for carrying goods and people. They valued their goods in gold, copper, and gems. They wrote the record of their trade on the clay tablets. There are many evidence which suggests that they carry a foreign trade with the Mediterranean and African countries as well as the Indus Valley people. They have businesses with many countries overseas. Adventurous merchants led their caravans to the west across the desert of the Mediterranean coast or through the mountains to the east part of the Africa. They generally export grain, wine, wool and textiles and imported materials like copper, tin, lead and precious metals. Evidence of the Mesopotamian seals in the Indus Valley suggests that the Mesopotamian people import timber and luxurious goods like ivory, pearls, spices, shells, and silk from the India. The Mesopotamian used kalaks, which were a kind of raft made of long wood tied together and buoyed by up by inflated skins for carrying goods through the canal with the help of canal. So student, that's all from today's class. Hope you understand. If you have any problem regarding this chapter, you can ask me during class hours. Thank you students. Thank you.